once. Whoa, look at this.
Oh, hey, that's a nicer camera.
I've never done one of these.
Okay.
I mean, I've done a live event on the Google thing, but I've never done live directly on here. So I wonder if anybody's even going to notice I'm on.
Oh, we'll see here.
We'll see. Is there anybody there? Anyway, here we are. Oh, it says there's nobody. We just got a like, but it says there's nobody on. So that's kind of interesting.
That's wonderful.
So an invisible person just liked us.
Okay, we got 2 people.
Okay, good.
How's it going, 2 people?
Hey, nothings. How are you? So apparently Glenn tells me, how are you? The thing to do is, loads of people coming on now. If you hit like immediately, apparently they help tell people that we're on live. Okay, love you guys. Now there's people on, like 44. Now we're talking.
There we go.
So we're at Sunset Sound, which is arguably the greatest studio in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of great studios. In LA alone, there's Sunset, there's United, there's NRG, 3 of the best studios in the world. But 3 of the best in the world. Then, of course, you've got London with, Abbey Road and all kinds of great places. So how are you all doing today? Because I'm here with the great Glenn Fricker.
How's it going, guys? Well, great. I don't know about that, but it's nice to be here anyway. Just kind of freaking out in this room. It's like, come on, so many great records were made in this room, and it's an honor to even be here, especially considering all the gear who owns the gear behind us. And
this is all the stuff that's in the racks is Joe Ciccarelli's.
Yeah.
And I have a tendency to go, whatever Joe uses, I want to use.
I'll get this shot here.
Yeah.
And,
AJ, hey. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, the console itself is absolutely insane. How do I flip the camera on this? You see,
button right there.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
There we go.
So look, I just want to put a little debate. So this, you see, this is Joe Ciccarelli's thing. And also Bob Clearmountain does the same thing. Hello.
And Bob Rock.
And people were debating me on it, and I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, Braden gave you the usual...
yeah, fuck you, Glenn. Yeah, fuck. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of...
Midway through watching Glenn's live video with Warren, and I get a notification saying Warren is live with Glenn. That's what we do.
Yes, it's called collaboration.
Yeah, exactly. And so so it's interesting. I mean, the reality is Bob Clearmountain, Bob Rock, and Joe Ciccarelli do this. And so, yeah, maybe there is some phase bloody-blah-blah that somebody said, but I don't know. Those guys are the best producers and engineers in the world. Joe as an engineer, I think, is second to none. I don't know if there is a better one. So, hello in Bulgaria. So this is the rather beautiful custom console. It's the Domidia mic pre's, for those of you who know. These mic pre's here. And API EQs. And it's just a beautiful... Very simple. You know what's interesting? I think a lot of people don't realize is that. Thank you. Nothing's nothing. The thing is that is that a plastic bag? No, we were just talking about that. You missed the whole thing. Can you do automation on faders? Yes, it has full automation. There's actually these are. If you see, these are all. Flick the camera around. See this? These are all knee flying faders. So all need flying faders, so that's pretty beautiful. Hello, Stefan in Sweden. So, yeah, I mean, what is great about this console and this studio in general, but this console is it's very, very... Hello in Portugal. It is very, 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 very simple to use. Great gear. Hello, Jonathan K. Great gear is usually simple. It's like... It doesn't take you more than just a few seconds to figure out how to use this console. Hello, yo bro. So what you've got is you've got flying faders Neve, which I think is the simplest flying faders to use. You've got 3-band EQ with boost or cut. You've got high and low pass filters, EQ in. I mean, that is pretty damn straightforward. I just swore. The reality is that...
Good thing you didn't say fuck.
We just got blacklisted by YouTube. No, so I'm just joking. But look, beautiful EQ points. 50 here for boosting kick. 100, 400, which I usually use to cut from drums. The point is it's really, really simple. Stay where you are, Glenn, in Canada. Watching live on Bus 6 to Willesden. Nice, you're going to Willesden. Lauren, how are you, Lauren? Are you having more fun with me today? Rick Elliott in Long Beach. Will it be in the giveaway, the console? I don't know. You want to do that in the giveaway? Glenn's going to buy it.
Yeah. I'll just run on.
Brian Johnson said Glenn Warren is like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. That's
God.
fine, but who's Fred Astaire and who's Ginger?
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Does the wave emulation of the API even come close to the real thing? Okay,
No, that's what everybody wants to know.
you know what? I'm gonna say something that's going to upset API people. I have a lot of APIs. I have 312s. I actually have the BAE reissues, but I also have API graphics, which I freaking love, and they sound amazing. However, a 2500, which is one over here. Here it is. This here is a great compressor. But if you put it on the bus, for me at least, everything folds in and gets small. But the Waves emulation doesn't. It doesn't. The Waves works on my master bus, works on my drum parallel. They did so. I don't want to say these words live, but I'm going to. I prefer the Waves API emulation to the actual API hardware. I'll use the API hardware version on Drum Crush, but I won't use it on a master bus. So sometimes, people are going, no way, really. Yeah, sometimes, oh, he said it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm not saying that everything is better in plugins. Of course it's not. But sometimes they do things like they come up with an algorithm and they open it up. You know what I mean? So it's more useful in other things. I love the 2500, but I'd never put it on a master bus. But anyway. You have a Pro Tools small home studio. Great. You want to ask us some questions? We got Glenn here.
Yeah. Okay.
Wish they'd really have a... I don't know if they do a 312. To the Yamahas, can you please say why the tape stuff is on the tweeters for soften? I think it's to
protect your ears because they're really harsh monitors. And the top end can be just brittle as fuck, especially if you're listening all day long. You put the toilet paper on, they become a lot more pleasant.
Yeah, and it's like I said, people saying it creates comb filtering. Maybe they're right, but...
It's the right kind of comb filtering.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Ciccarelli, Bob Rock, and Bob Clemons all do it. So
it's unknown though whether that's like the soft stuff. It's the Charmin or the cheap dollar store brand.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get the right brand of toilet paper.
Yes, exactly.
How much was all of that gear? God, I mean, there's millions of dollars worth of gear.
Well, no, what's really cool up here? Check these out. Like the acoustic treatment up here. I've never actually seen these anywhere else. Is these great big? These are obviously traps of some sort.
Yeah, this is a. Nothing says, what do I smell like? Probably like, should have had a shower this morning before he left, but he worked till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what I smell like. Yeah. So, did I say that out loud? Yeah. Warren, what can you do? What can I do to play drums for you? I don't know. Play something and send it to me. Put a video up on YouTube so we can
show him
see
your
it.
Rudiments.
Oh yeah, the rudiments.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, here's a great example. Okay, you want to play for this guy. Don't show off. Just show your rudiments. Like I said, we were doing some stuff the other day, and it's like, okay, we had a drummer come in, and everything was cool, and then until he had to play side stick, and he couldn't do it. And it's like, okay, so it doesn't matter how flashy you are. That shit doesn't really matter. It's what can you do to make the basic shit work. That's more important than anything. That's what I'd say anyway. I mean, like, hopefully I'm not taking any words out of your mouth.
Right. No. I agree entirely. It's like 99% of your life is rudiments, says Lauren. 99% of your life is going to be boom, chat, boom, chat,
exactly.
Boom, boom, chat. That's it.
Get the basics right first.
Yeah. People have been saying that we have the best hairstyles. I think we have the.
Well, I've got the late '80s thing going on, and I don't know. You kind of got the Beetlejuice thing going on.
I don't know what's going on. I think. Well, I need to get like the big aviators, and I can be the Graham Bonnet to your Richie Blackmore, and then we'll be good.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. 70s man.
Yeah, there we go.
Elvis.
Yeah,
a little bit. I need to get him down here.
Yeah, get a little. No, then that's Engelbert.
Engelbert, yeah. You can see the Yamahas very often in studios, and more forget the second setup for a mix in a more situation. I grew up listening to NS10s, and I have these what you call NS10 ears, which is like there's a 7K lift. Sorry, a 7 dB lift at 1.5K. Go and look at the frequency chart. It's like this. So it is painful.
Mm-hmm. Do you have NS10s in your place? I forget.
I got rid of them.
Oh, yeah.
Shh. I mean, I had them.
You've got those Genelecs though.
I have 1032s are my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm. You should introduce me to Genelec at some time.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to do something with them.
Well, that's very easy. I think Paul Stewart left yesterday, but he was here. But you should meet Stephanie. She's awesome.
Sure.
Yeah, and I pay for my Genelecs. Don't worry, I didn't get them for free.
Cool.
I'm sure if I wanted, I haven't bought a new pair, but if I want to buy them, I'm sure they give me a discount. But they're not. They're too expensive. They can't give them away for free.
Yeah,
There's
they're
no
not
profitability.
cheap.
No, but I think they're becoming the new norm.
Yes, you see them everywhere.
Yeah, because the reason why is that there's lots of whatever's hip this week. You know, people love the Focals or the Unities and ATCs, all these great monitors. But I'm starting to see Genelec becoming a constant. So whether it means, so what do I mean by that? It doesn't mean that they're the best speakers. I just think there's something that translates really well from room to room.
And that's what's most important in a studio monitor. It's not how great do they sound. No. How well is it what you mix on there? How well is that going to work in the real world? Is that going to work on the, is it going to work on the car stereo? Is it going to work on your iPod?
And look, bass is lift.
Yes, bass is lift.
Bass is definitely lift.
In fact, available now at the spectrummedia.ca shop. Brought to you by a wise YouTube commenter.
Really contemplating them for drums. Do you guys have any experience yet with the WA412? What's that?
That's the warm audio. Is that the compressor or is that the microphone?
Is that a compressor or microphone? Hey, can everybody who's watching, can you hit the like button, please? Because apparently if we hit the like button, YouTube likes us. They have to like us.
Hit the like button, please.
Hit the like button. And if you are subscribed, apparently we have to hit the bell thing now. Because if we don't hit the bell, it's not like being subscribed. They don't let you know. The 3124. I love 3124s. I've made records on 3112. So please hit the like button and hit the bell for subscription. Lift is low in frequency. Only if Glenn does a hair flip.
Okay, here we go.
Wait a metal. That was a metal hair flip if ever I saw one.
Yeah, there you go.
Rick Elliott, mostly voiceover, recording, editing, mixing other bands' material as well as post sound for picture. Great. So yeah, hit the like button, please, so that YouTube knows that you like us, or you can like him. You don't have to like me. You can like him. It can be just a like for him. It doesn't have to be a like for me. All right. So look, here we are. Let's do a quick bit more studio. So look, here it is. This console is freaking beautiful. I'm going to try walking into the. Thank you very much, Edward. I'm going to walk into the live room here.
Hopefully don't.
Yeah, hopefully the Wi-Fi will stretch. So, why am I going to live it? Well, look at this.
This is where it all happened, guys.
When would you record with a dynamic and when with a condenser? Yeah, it is gorgeous. I would record with a condenser in most situations. Dynamics are fantastic when you have a singer who has no idea how to record with a condenser mic. And they maybe are a live artist and they want to perform. Give them a handheld mic and they can just perform. Cool. Glenn found the... What is the next band in that room? I don't know who's in next.
Bring it over here.
Oh yeah, this is
this is the infamous.
This is the Jim. This is the Jim. I can't say this. Glenn's going to say it.
This is the infamous vocal booth where Jim Morrison was serviced while recording Moonlight Drive. I think. I don't know the track in particular. But
this is arguably actually, and this is also Van Halen's guitar amp room.
Oh, cool.
This is where, when you listen to 1 and 2, this is where the amp was put. This is where the cab. So this is also the sound of Van Halen 1 and 2. In fact, this is the sound of Van Halen 1. See this corner here? That's where the drums were put. Wow. So Van Halen 1, drums there. Why do I know? Because I have... Why do I know? Because we just did a recording, which are going to come out in the next week or two, of some kids playing. How big is that booth? It's actually quite big.
Yes.
It's arguably the first vocal booth in the world.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ben McGuire said the fashion police have been alerted. It's arguably the first vocal booth in the world, and you might say, what the heck do you mean, Warren? Well, they basically used to do orchestral dates in here. The story goes, no, there's no parallel surfaces in the room. If you see, it's all like really, see how more narrow it is here? It's not an optical illusion, it's real. And there, you see how high that is, and then how much lower that is? The ceiling goes at an angle, so there's no parallel surfaces. Also, I don't know if you guys can see from here, but the floor dips to the corner. Is that visible? That corner there is about 6 inches lower than that corner. So there is no... and this used to be a mechanic's garage, believe it or not. And they said that the reason why it went down to dip in here is because all the oil would roll down to here. So this is where all the oil would collect. So it's perfect for a live room. Anyway, so Paul, who owns the place, his dad worked for Disney. And one day he went to Disney, and he was a recording engineer. He went to Disney and said, hey guys, you need to build yourself a studio. You need to build a studio because we're spending all this money on external studios, and you should build it. And Disney said, no, we don't want to build studios, but why don't you build one? Wear black socks. Apparently you got to wear black socks.
I like this.
And Disney said, no, we don't want to build a studio. Why don't you build one? So Paul's dad built this studio. So when you listen to like 50s recordings of like classic Disney movies, they were done in here. And believe it or not, they would fit everything in this room, like orchestra. And so what happened is they had this room, but it was a little bigger, and this booth wasn't here. And one day, one of the engineers said, this is a real pain in the butt trying to get the vocal to cut over the fact that in this big room is a full orchestra and a band and everything. So they built a vocal booth. And that might sound stupid, but when you listen to like those early Disney soundtracks, when you listen to those early Disney soundtracks, those vocals were cut in the same room as the band. Isn't that insane? So like, yeah, it's just wonderful. Anyway, and so there's this room in the back. Actually, they used to put the string section in here. So the string section was in this room, and then in the big live room there was the remainder of the orchestra. Ah, he's live feeding me live.
Just doing a little recording for my own purposes.
Yeah, that is a serious collection of mic stands if ever I saw one. Hey guys, please hit the like thing, because apparently if you hit like, then YouTube goes, oh, that's a good video, we should feature it.
Yes, exactly. That's
Could you address the monitoring system for the band? Yeah, the way they do it, please hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe. But when you subscribe, hit the bell so you actually get notified. Because without hitting the bell, apparently your subscription is just a number. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so this is the monitors. This is a really freaking good idea. So what they're doing is they're taking a small Mackie console, which you can buy these days for $100 or something. You know, these things are so cheap. And what we do is we separate it off. So you might have drums, you might have kick, snare, then overheads and toms and rooms on a stereo pair. Then you'll have bass guitar, then maybe stereo guitars, maybe stereo keyboards, and then the vocal for the lead singer. It's a really, really good idea. And then also, you know, if you're the drummer and you want to put some low end on, you boost your kick. If you're the bass player and you're over here, you can boost some low end on your bass. If the click channel is coming down here, you can crack some top end. It's just a much better way of working. It's very intuitive if I'm a musician sitting here that I can make my own headphone mix. Look, you see there's 6 of them here, just in this room alone. 6 there, and a big Elco cable. So it's amazing. So you send a submix from the console out to these 6, and you have the band playing in here. It's really freaking awesome.
I think Waves has a digital system for that now, where you can just plug your headphones into like an iPad and mix right on your iPad.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So people asking about headphones. I like Extreme Isolation, as you know. I'm a really big fan. Did we hook you up with those guys?
Yeah, not yet, no.
Okay, we'll do that.
Talk to them, yes.
Yeah, direct sound. Somebody's saying they're a great company, really good isolation. DT770s are great. I grew up obviously being English, and anybody English knows what I'm about to say, or British. DT100s, the buyers, the white ones, the grey white ones, they are offensively loud and mid-rangey and amazing. Because they cut. You're sitting in because I made records my whole life in a room like this, and I'd be sitting there, yeah, or Scottish, definitely. I have Scottish family. I'm Irish, Scottish, and English, and millions of other things, but my mother's family's all Irish. Anyway, and my dad's, or whatever, point is we're Scottish and Irish and English. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I made records in rooms like this. So I'd be a player, like a bass player or guitar player, and you're in the room with the frickin' drummer, and it's loud. So you needed loud, mid-rangey headphones. And the Bayers were the way to go. Australian, like AJ. No Australians in my family, but I suppose the Irish probably do. I probably have Irish relatives. Hit the like bell already. Yeah, hit the bell. Apparently you have to hit the bell as well as the like, and as well as... I'm not Cumbrian, but I lived in Cumbria. I was born in a little village in Carlisle, in Hampshire, and then I moved up to Cumbria. So I wasn't originally from Cumbria, but I lived in Cumbria, and I freaking love Cumbria, and some of my best friends and my best relationships are from Cumbria. It's like, that's what she said. Yeah. Anyway, so can you talk about budget mics? All right, no, I'm going to talk to Glenn, because he knows more about budget mics than any of us.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying this. Okay, if you're looking for a great budget dynamic, that's not going to break the bank, look at the Samson CS. It's a dual capsule dynamic mic. It has an instrument capsule and a vocal capsule. It's designed to compete with the SM57 and 58. And I think I picked mine up for $39 at Sam Ash, and it'll easily rival a SM57 and a 58 in every sense of the word. It's great on guitars, it's great on snare drums, you name it. And they're dirt freaking cheap. Go get one. Don't even ask. Just go buy one. On the condenser end of things, my personal favorites are the Roswell Mini K47s. They're like $300. They're not exactly super cheap, but they're still not going to be as much as a U87. And you can get a match pair of those for about $700. There's an extra fee for matching them, of course. And they've went up on my overheads, and they've stayed there ever since I put them up because they're just magnificent. They're also great on heavy guitars and acoustic guitars and all kinds of cool stuff.
Ed said he bought the Delphos and loved it.
Yes, the Delphos is incredible.
The Delphos is amazing.
That's stayed up on that's been on my guitar cabinet, just hasn't moved. And I mean, like, I used 57s for years and years and years, and the Delphos is just freaking insane. It's so good on guitar.
I agree. I think I'm a big fan of Matt. Matt McGlynn.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
Awesome.
He has recording hacks, like Larry Crane, who has Tape Pop, like Glenn, who has Spectra Sound, like Matt, who has Working Class Audio. The thing about why do I gravitate towards these guys? Because all of these guys are just kind of in it to win it. They're all just trying to help each other out. We're all trying to find good gear and good people to work with. It's not some BS-y kind of like, oh, buy my $10,000 whatever. It's the thing is, I grew up with an artist painter family and with no money in a nice part of town, so I have a nice accent. But the reality is like I identify with like people who roll up their sleeves and really do something fantastic. And Matt McGlynn is one of those guys.
Oh yeah, it's like I talked to Telefunken at AES last year, and it's like they got all these beautiful mics laid out, and I'm like, okay, great. What do you got for the kid in his bedroom?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh well, we can do this, and I'm like, well, that starts at $1,000. It's like, can you guys do anything a little better?
So speaking of which, I'm going to go back to one of the comments we had when we did with Glenn earlier, asking you guys, what's your opinion? What do you have in the low budget monitors? CJ Vanston turned me on to iLoud, and IK Multimedia just sent me a pair to try out. We'll do a giveaway. You guys can win a pair. We'll do that like next week. But what I want to know, that $300. HS8s, people are saying that. I get asked all the time, and I want to help people out. People are saying, what's sub $1,000 for monitors? And that's just like, I've been on Genelec to make a $1,500 monitor that's going to blow away the world. But I think that M Audio, people are saying, Karaoke Rocket 8s with the sub.
I started out with Karaoke's actually.
Yeah, you like them?
I instead of V8s though. They weren't under $1,000, but I did a lot of good mixes on them. But I've been with events for quite a while.
Events?
Yeah, but they're like, I don't know, maybe $1,500 for a pair of those.
Yeah, a lot of people I know you're using. Oh yeah, the LSRs. People like those, the JBLs. A lot of people like the HS8s. How do you maintain your events? I'm being asked. Behringer.
I don't know. I just put them in my soffits and leave them there.
Yeah, you haven't any problem with them?
No, they've been great. These are the ASP8s, like they were piano black, and they were like really delicate front ends on them. So yeah, you can't touch them or they scratch.
2020s are about 400 on eBay, people say.
Okay.
That's pretty good. You know what?
The 2020s are pretty good actually, and especially if you soffit mount them. Yeah,
my friend Dave Weinman, he does movie sound, and he's really talented, like stupidly talented, and like a jazz keyboard player. He has Event 2020s in his studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
John
realize
Sayers was really big on those too. He's the guy who came up with the design for my room, and he's like, yeah, the 2020s are great.
A lot of people loving 2020s. All right, I'm gonna have to do a bit of research on this. Has anybody used the iLouds yet? Have you used them? I mean, they're only $300. Yeah, what interfaces do you use and why? That's an interesting one. 2020s are ported but decent. Yeah.
Interface. I'm using RME Fireface UFX Plus. I've been an RME guy for at least 10 years now. I had a Fireface 800, just sold that, upgraded for the UFX Plus. It's freaking magnificent. If you're a PC guy, go with RME because the drivers are second to none. You can push the system really hard. I think I can run like a full mix of like 32 samples latency, and it's absolutely fine. It is brilliant beyond belief. The onboard mixing software is great. The TalkBack system's great. If you get the remote control for it, it basically replaced my Mackie Big Knob, so I've got much more desktop space free now, and I can do separate headphone mixes and all kinds of sends and returns and shit. It is just freaking magnificent. Not cheap, worth the money though.
That's fantastic. People saying RME is a wonderful company to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
I had a couple people mention Audient come up. I've had a good experience of Audient.
Oh, the Audient stuff's fantastic too. I've demoed some of their stuff. The little desktop unit, like the 4-channel unit, and then one of the 8-channel mic pre's that goes over ADAT to it. And that's a rock solid setup, and their mic preamps are excellent.
Yeah.
You really can't go wrong with Audient.
And I've just honestly found them to be, of all the companies, like one of the best to deal with.
Yeah.
They've been very generous with giving us stuff for giveaways. They've left stuff with me to try out. They've let's just say, compared with other companies, they've been really good.
Well, let's put it this way: I've got 8 Audient pre's in my rack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily going to use them as primary channels, but they are there, and they do get a fair amount of use.
Great. Apollo, there was a period when every producer I know that was like downsizing from huge HD rigs was going to Apollo. I haven't seen so many of them now, but there was just a time when I go around to people's houses and they had a laptop on that what's the little square Apollo called? I don't remember what it's called. Anybody remember? Every other producer and engineer I knew had an Apollo. It's, things go in and out of fashion. I think the bottom line is, whether it's a Focusrite, an Audient, or Apollo, or an RME, it sounds like you're going to get the same results. I mean, I remember when Barry, who recently sold, Paul just now has 100% stake in Radar.
Oh,
Canadian company.
Yeah. We met those guys at Summernam.
Yeah, and Paul's just a rock solid guy. I don't know if he's online at the moment, but Paul is amazing, and that company, inarguably has always been considered to make the best IOs, best interfaces. And Barry admitted, he goes, the chip is available to anybody. Anybody can buy that chip to make an interface. It's not about the digital component, it's about everything around
It's about the
it.
analog signal path.
Yeah, and the thing about Radar that people always loved was that their stuff was like bulletproof. It was like the best built. But I had a couple of interesting conversations with him, because of course Barry was always very combative about other companies, but when I mentioned Lavery,
oh yeah,
he was like, can't say a bad word about them. Yeah. He's like, Lavery just build the best stuff. So I think for me, when I mix down, and I'm mixing in a hybrid fashion through my console, I have a Lavery Blue, which used to be DB Technologies, but it's Lavery.
Yep.
So if you're going to spend some money, Radar, and a guy that is a total gear snob, I mean, Barry was like, if he's recommending Lavery, then they're the best. And I still know some of my friends still mix to Lavery, some of the biggest guys, and those A to D converters are like 10, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And they're
still killer.
Still killer, yeah.
Yeah, the Crane Song stuff's like that too.
Crane Song, yeah.
Yeah. Like just super high end.
Best funny story in the Lavery Gold. The Lavery Gold's insane, yeah. I mean, that's in the best mastering studios in the world. Funniest studio? Julia says I'm very hot. Well, thank you, Julia. I appreciate it. That's my mother's name. A good name. So what was I going to say?
Funny studio story?
Funny studio story. What's your funniest studio story?
I don't know.
Says a man wearing a Bases Lift
shirt. Funny studio story. So no, that's I don't know. It's like I was doing a punk band once, hardcore punk band,
yeah.
And I'm doing vocal check, and it's like okay, you want to check the microphone? Okay, check. He's just doing it like that. I'm just cranking the gain up, and I'm like, okay, finally got a level, great. Okay, let's go. So hit record. He's just, and I'm like, just knocked me out of my chair. I was just like, whoa, holy shit. Now, when you check a mic, you got to do it at the level you're speaking at, or you're going to be singing at, not just check. Oh yeah.
Sorry, we had
We had a phone call.
I might have to get you to
we're still
text him. Yeah.
I'll shoot him a text. Yeah.
Hey, so yeah, I've had that one before. That's usually guitar players. We do that. We go sling, 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 like really, really quiet, and then when at the gig, so it's super quiet, and then the band comes in and we just blow people off with too much volume. Yeah, I've had those exact same experiences. But I would say funny studio stories. There's been so many. Tips for mixing saxophone. It's 2K. If you're going to use a multi-band compressor, try putting 2K on it. I'm going to see if we can walk around. I don't know. I'm a bit scared if we leave this room.
We will lose Wi-Fi.
Did you try over here anyway?
Yeah, it gets there's definitely some dead spots, especially in the courtyard.
Okay. Well, look, I'm just going to flip this around just so you guys can get an idea of this place. If you can see there, this part here, there's some serious records there. Like serious, like Zeppelins and The Doors. And it's Van Halen's Zeppelin and The Doors.
Jerry Manilow.
Just there. This bit here is just ridiculous. Zeppelin 4. Sorry. What I must remind you guys and girls who are watching, this room here recorded Stairway to Heaven. I'll just say that one more time. This room here, this room here recorded Stairway to Heaven. Did everybody get that? Please press like if you know what that song is. Yeah, all the Doors records were recorded in this room. Forever Changes by Love was recorded in this room. And if you don't know Forever Changes by Love, go and check it out. But this room here, once more, this room here, exactly as it looks today, recorded Stairway to Heaven. Anyway, so no stairway yet. Please hit like. Please hit like, because apparently I've been told by the YouTube gods that if you hit like, it means that they promote it because you like it. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're working on that theory.
Yeah, so please hit the like button.
Stairway to Heaven, yep. Like. Thank you for liking. Well, this is awesome. Do you have any questions for Glenn? Do you make studio keeps all the vibes? I think they do. Boddington's here. Somebody's doing. Can I ask a dumb question? How is A to D, D to A used, for example, like a Burl bomber and a mothership? Try understand how it's used in a chain with Imberset, like an interface for REM.
Actually, I worked with a Burl mothership at Phase 1 last year. Actually, they had that.
What did you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know how much better it is than say the ADs and like like your average Digidesign system, but
right.
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. We're going to put this down and see if we can.
Yeah, this will work. But I mean, it's just.
How did you do?
Oh, I did it up here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that works.
Look at that. He's clever.
Yeah.
So
make up for
questions
the
for
looks.
Glenn.
Seriously though, yeah, we used a Burl mothership, and yeah, it was pretty good. But I mean, like that's what's going between your mic preamp and your computer. That's all. You just hook it up like you would like an RME or something like that.
I was just got asked why is the studio empty? Because we just finished tracking. We were working, but we finished early.
Yeah, it's like kind of a slow day. Everyone's kind of taken off already.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, like that's the thing about a studio. It's not always busy all the time. But on Tuesday, like Quincy Jones and
Herbie Hancock
were in the studio next to us.
Yeah,
and that was just mind blowing. I mean, like I said on my show, it's like that was the one session I was not gonna go knock on the door. I'd be completely out of my depth and wouldn't have anything to say to these guys other than duh.
You and me both. I didn't get to see Quincy or Herbie. I think I worked with Quincy on something, but not directly.
Really?
Yeah, no, we worked on the same project. It was his project that he was producing, executive producing as well.
Sure.
And at the end of the project, it was Christmas, and he gave us all a Christmas present. And so that was like, and I've still got it in. You've seen it. It's in my room. It's the jazz. It's a jazz box set, and it's to Quincy, to Warren, love from Quincy. But
wow.
The point is that he sent out like 1,200 of those.
Yeah,
but that shows how generous he is.
No, that's great, and the fact they took time to do all the signatures,
yeah.
and that's that shows dedication. But like Herbie Hancock, I mean, like growing up in the '80s, I mean, like come on, Rocket was gigantic. That was just nobody had ever heard anything like that.
Right. right? Is it worth getting affordable outboard gear for small home studios? Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. IGS, I work with those guys a lot. They've got pretty affordable outboard gear. The Warm Audio stuff's really cool as well. The new one is Stam Audio. They're from Chile. And they make 1073s and SSL bus compressors, and the stuff's fucking killer.
Really?
Yes, super killer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Alex has got a bunch of their stuff. They're doing a U87 clone as well, which apparently is quite good.
That's amazing.
And we should really talk to them about doing
let's do that, definitely. What else we got? Glenn, how do I make my guitars present but not too harsh in the mix?
Move the mic around.
Yeah,
seriously, that's rule number one, is just get the mic in the right position. Present without too harsh. That's the real trick. Turn your gain down. Basically, what you want to do when you're doing high gain guitars, especially rhythm guitar and whatnot, is if you're recording a cabinet, get your amp going. Start with a clean channel or a semi-distorted sound, or at least go on your high gain channel and dial your gain way back till it's almost clean, till you just hear a bit of breakup. Then start turning your speaker up until you hear the speaker really start moving and whatnot. Then turn your gain in. But when you're
dynamic duo.
I'm sorry?
Said the dynamic duo. Just
like I said, the trick is dial your gain back first and try and get the tone sounding good without all the gain, and then dial in just as much as you need. And go with that, but just be real careful with your treble and presence knobs. It's not something you learn overnight. It definitely, you have to put time in on it. The other thing is, try using a condenser instead of like a 57, because condensers can sound amazing on heavy guitars.
Great answer. Somebody just asked about, do you ever look at frequency analyzers when you're mixing?
Never.
I thought about that. I do when I'm trying to figure out if I've got a build up and I can't figure out exactly what it is.
Sure.
Most of the time, I've been doing this a long time. Most of the time, I just go, boom, pull this down, pull that down, pull this down, and boost. And it's pretty straightforward. However, usually when I'm doing that is when I'm mixing somebody else's stuff and there's some really horrible frequency.
Sure.
And I can't. I'm trying to figure out where the build-up is from 15 different instruments, because I might pull out. Vocalist is like, you can get a 600-700 nasal thing like this. So you naturally, as a mixer, go to 6, 650, and 7 and pull it out. Sometimes it's at like 4 with singers when they go like this, when sometimes it's mic placement, the mic's too high, it's hearing more around there than here. However, there's times when you get really weird resonant frequencies in vocals and you're like, what is that, How many SM57s at Sunset Sound? I don't know.
God.
Probably 100.
Lots.
Yeah, I remember because there's 3 rooms.
They took me for a tour when I first came here, and I got to see the mic locker. And they got a lot of cool stuff. Let's just put it that way. Pretty much, it's Candyland. Anything you'd ever want is in here.
Oh, we got Knees 5088. No Glenn, back a bit. Bass direct, mic or amp. Both if you can.
Yeah, I usually do a direct, and then I'll go through something like a dark glass or a Sans amp or two notes La bass, something like that, and then just hit that with a distressor on the way in. Yes, if you're going to buy a compressor, if you want outboard and you want a great compressor, get a distressor. They're pretty versatile. They can work in a lot of different situations.
Would you say it's acceptable to use a guitar for bass line, pitch, and then pitch the octave down?
It'll work in a pinch. I remember starting off doing that. It's a lot of extra work. It's a big pain in the ass.
P-bass or jazz P-bass?
Jazz bass.
You like jazz?
Definitely.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm a jazz bass kind of guy. Really? You're a P-bass guy?
Yeah, because my favorite bass
All right, fuck you. I'm out of here. That's that.
My favorite bass tone is still down 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 mystery on my mind Pretenders.
Okay, okay.
But jazz, I love jazz bass. You're just asking me to choose between 2 great things.
Yeah, well, I know. I remember it's like you watch music videos or whatnot back in the 90s.
My main tracking bass is a jazz bass.
Half the bass, I know. Half the basses you see in the videos, they're all playing jazzes.
Yeah,
they're just got such a wonderful grindy tone. They're great for metal too. First choice for bass on my records these days is a Dingwall. So there you go.
Yeah, totally. Do you pick a mic for female vocalists whereas they're different from male vocalists? Oh, for me, that's where C12s and Telefunken 251s come in for girl singers.
Really?
Because they have they're a little bit more scoopy sounding.
Yeah.
Like U67s traditionally have that little tiny bit of mid-range as well as the lows, so they were always traditionally good for rock vocalists. I use a U47 a lot, so I can use it on pretty much everything. But the thing about a C12, if it's sort of got this low end lift and this high end sparkle, which is great on girls, because girls might have, they're rolling off down there, so a little extra help seems to really help. Which is why I would say in R&B pop, with almost no exception, the C12 is like, between that and the Sony, is like the most used mic on a girl singer.
See, I usually just pull out a U87.
You're right. Yeah, U87 is going to be great. There's a little boomy and makes a female sound warmer. Yeah, see, there you go. Somebody's saying the same thing. Why tracking suddenly and not recording? I say both.
Yes, same thing.
Hagstrom by Sonic, great. Do you prefer tracking bands live together? Yeah, if I can. What's your favorite? What's your favorite guitar riff?
Oh my God, Painkiller.
Oh wow, that's great. My favorite guitar riff. It's evolved over the years, but when I was a kid, definitely Tie Your Mother Down.
Oh yeah, sure.
When I was a kid, I first heard that. I was like, that's a guitar riff. Have you tried Aston mics? Yes, I have. Do you use?
They're on my to try list. I hear they're awesome.
Have you tried? Guys worked on a Sphere. Oh, have you tried the Sphere mic yet? Townsend, the Sphere mic.
No.
The digital emulation, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Randy was talking with me about that. No, that's on my no, that's not Randy was talking to me about. Right, Dave Dysart, I think, wants me to give that a shot. Yes, that's definitely on my to try list. So yes, it will be on the show at some point. Yes.
Said, when mixing really layered songs, how do you create more depth without adding more reverb? I mean, that's an interesting discussion. I mean, how much reverb have you added? If it's too much, then maybe pull it back on lots of things and put it on more selective thing.
Yeah, I don't use a lot of reverb, honestly. I use it on drums. That's about it.
Any of you both know the Sontronics Halo mic? No, but if it's the Sontronics who make the 610s and stuff, Sontronics is one of the best companies on the planet. They make amazing gear. You'll notice I love lots of different people's gear. I'm not like, I'm not that guy. Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever tried Have you ever tracked Iron Maiden? No, I haven't. I've tracked a lot of rock bands: Aerosmith, Ace Frehley, Korn, Black Veil Brides, but I've never worked with Iron Maiden. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think we should.
Sphere consoles and pre's. Yeah, they're amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to have one in Echo Park in Indiana.
I think we should. I think the fans should write in. I think we should do that.
Yeah.
You and I, the next Iron Maiden record.
I'd love to. Love Iron Maiden.
That would be really something.
Nice channel. Just found you from SMG. Thank you, Spectrum Media.
There we go. Hey, great. Yes. If you haven't subscribed to Warren, please do. He's got a lot of amazing info.
Apparently, you have to hit the bell. If you don't hit the bell, people don't know we're talking.
Yes, hit the bell. Hit the bell.
Subscribe. Hit the bell. Oh, and can you hit the likes? Apparently, if we get likes, people watch it.
Yes. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Oh yeah, and subscribe to mine as well.
Yeah. I forgot. You're on my channel. Go subscribe to his.
Spectre Sound Studios.
Yeah, I forgot I was on my channel.
Best bass player jokes on YouTube.
Yeah, he's a huge fan. Why would you guys add more body by weight to a high gain amp already recorded when it's not heavy enough? How would you? I've done that. Honestly, Decapitator works great. Please hit the like. Hit the like, please.
I just usually, ask for dry tracks. I make sure, somebody records a DI of their guitar so I can re-up the guitar and just do what I want with it.
Yeah, good question here. Very good answer. I agree. How would you EQ a dual guitar harmony line? Go and listen to the Brian May stuff. What they would do is first of all use the DC amp, which was basically just it was a hi-fi speaker using a transistor radio. So you're all like mystified. What it was like super mid-rangey. And so you listen to all those harmony parts, they're all layered. There's no like super fizzy high end, there's no muddy bottom end. It's just mid-range. So if you're going to do harmony parts, EQ around the notes. If you've got a low part going, you don't need any high end. If you've got a mid-range part going, get rid of the low, get rid of the high, stick that in. If you've got a high line, get rid of all the low and the low mids. It's logic. Think about it. One of the greatest producers that ever lived is Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And listen to the Beach Boys records. Listen to like Pet Sounds. There's a low-end instrument, a bass guitar. There's a kick drum. There's a snare drum. There's like whatever. The point is he picked instruments for their frequency ranges. So we'd have like 12 things playing at the same time, but not all low, middly, and mid-rangey. Like instruments that were specifically placed. So when you're building high guitar parts, think that way. Just EQ around them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you listen to say like Metallica, Whenever I May Roam, you hear all those you hear those harmony, da 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 da. You know,
Yeah.
they've got like everything below 250 is just rolled right off. There's like no bottom end in those lines because they've got these massive rhythm guitars underneath them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely about EQ for harmony parts. How much of a transit designer is taking part in the music production, if any, like tracking, mixing? How would you use it today? I use a transit designer on my kick and snare in every mix.
Really, I never touch them.
Love them, absolutely love them, because I can use multiple snare sounds, blend them together, then get it perfect.
I just use drum leveler. That seems to
Right.
work pretty well for me. But I mean, like then again, it's like
Yes, Joe works here all the time.
You know, I work for my snare though. I use two mics. I use a 57. I use a Studio Project C4. 57 is kind of a fatter mic, and the C4 has a real big spike on it. So if I blend those two, that kind of helps me control how much attack my snare gets. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really smart. I like that. Aerosmith Eq guitars very differently, like the basic cone filter. Yeah, I did. With Aerosmith, the thing is when Jack was producing Jack's produced half, if not more than half of the Aerosmith albums, and what Jack had me do with Aerosmith is we used at least 3 microphones, sometimes as many as 5. Now, what do I mean by that? We would have, we'd mic the center of the cone, then he would put one against it, but then he would want one pulled back a few feet just to get a bit of a sound in the room, and then he would do stereo room mics. And he wanted completely different mics and mic. Yes, I do use Stephen Slate plugins.
Same here.
And I do, and so he would want different guitar sounds for different guitar players. But for him, it wasn't even so much the mic selection. He would have totally different cabs. So he'd have Brad's going to be through a 10-inch speaker, Joe's going to be through a 412. I mean, Jack comes from that school of thought from the late 60s and the 70s that every sound had to be unique. And Joe Perry's the same way, Brad as well. But Joe's probably the most, demanding artist I've ever worked with. And not rah, 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 rah. No, creatively. We would get a guitar sound, we'd spend 4 hours miking, we put a big amp out in the room, mic the room, get the ambience, then get a small guitar amp, put it in the closet and mic that, and then take the DI and put it through a fuzz pedal and then blend it till we got exactly the right guitar sound. We do the part. It's 4 hours of getting the sound he wants, do the guitar part, and he'd be like, and then back in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, let's keep doing it. And he'd be like, cool, now let's get a different sound for the rhythm. And you'd be like, and then you go back into another 3 or 4 hours of trying stuff. You know, I've heard lots of stories about working with Joe Perry. All I can say is in 9 months with Joe Perry, he's the one that restored my faith in the idea of creativity, about wanting to be unique, because he wanted every single guitar sound to have its own stuff. He's a guitar player. He's like the old school guitar player who gives a crap. Mm-hmm. Who's talking about which is the best guitar to match that amp with this pedal, the blah, blah, blah. And it's great because, these days, and don't get me wrong, these days you can do so much with a Kemper, you can do so much with an Axe Effects. I get it. You can do so much with Bias, with Decapitator, with Sans Amp, with Amp Farm, with Amplitude. But to be in a room with a guy that's just all bets are off and this just makes something amazing is wonderful. So thanks for the Aerosmith guitar question. How do you edit get vocals without it making sound really dry or really edited and awful? There you go. You can take that one.
Okay, I usually do comps. I'll do 5 takes.
Yeah.
And send the vocalist home and just piece it together.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, screw it, don't need the auto tune. It's 5-6 takes.
Right.
And if they're gonna get it, they're gonna get it. If they're not, they're not.
And you can always have them come back and fix words.
Exactly. But for the most part, that's how I do it. And it's just, listen to different takes and grab a little bit here, grab a little bit there, and grab a little bit there. And it's it usually works out pretty well.
David Foster, another Canadian, probably. I think David Foster is in the top 1, 2, or 3 most successful producers of all time, record sales wise, because even though he's not a household name for rock, the guy produced the Celine Dion's and the Barbra Streisands and these huge artists that have all sold 50 million records, and he's produced them all. And a great jazz piano player. He told me when I was working with him that he has never recorded more than 10 vocal takes with any singer ever in his whole career. Think about that. Now, there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, it's the law of diminishing returns. Recording hundreds of takes just blows out your thing.
Yep.
Number 1.
Yes.
Second one, and most importantly, the guy has ears. The guy knows what to do. So the guy, when you're working, and I knew this when I was an engineer, I was working with inexperienced producers that maybe were given opportunities they hadn't quite earned yet. they would work their singer really hard and make them do 40 takes. But why were they doing that? Because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know that, they already had the first verse. So they would just do take after take after take. If your singer has already nailed the first verse, why are you still singing it?
Sure.
So David Foster only does 10 takes because by the first take, he's thinking, got to focus on these two lines. And I've worked with him. And so on the second take, he's like, let's just focus on these 2 lines. And then the third take, he's like, we just need to work on the bridge. And then the fourth take, he's like, you haven't got the first line of the last chorus. You get my point. So by the end of the 10 takes, he has got everything he needs because he has an ear and he has a talent to identify what to go for. So the great producers I work with as an engineer always did small amounts of takes. The not so good ones, hundreds of frickin' takes. And then it's a nightmare to comp it.
Yes, that's true.
Nightmare. The other thing I would say, get a lyric sheet from the singer.
Yes.
Get a lyric sheet, put it out with nice big spaces between every line, and get a pencil. No, Mutt Lange was great, and he didn't do hundreds and thousands of takes. I've actually spoken to. Do you know how Mutt Lange worked? You see, this is like interpretation of facts. If you want to hear the facts, I was talking to Vivian Campbell about Mutt Lange, and I said, why don't you guys still work with Mutt? And he's like, the whole band wants to. He just sort of moved on. That's kind of his past. And I said, well, what was it like? And he said, Mutt goes out to the live room and sings all of the harmony parts because he's insanely talented, and then gets them to mimic them and copy them. So he doesn't just sit there and go, do it again, do it again, do it again. There's a sort of mystery. What he does is he knows what he's going for, and he focuses very hard in it. Yes, exactly. He does hundreds of layered guitar parts. What he would do is he would do individual string stuff because he wanted the guitars to go and he didn't do it on every song. It was like just when he wanted it to be this wall of guitar, he would have Angus in AC/DC or basically have, or Phil Collins, whatever, play individual things because he wanted the guitars to hit in one thing.
I've done that before. It's really cool.
Great,
for harmony bits and whatnot, or like where you split a chord up.
Yep.
You can like do 4 guitars and have like one guitar play 2 notes and another guitar play the other 2 notes, kind of thing. It sounds really freaking cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I was going to say about the harmony bit and the all that. You said have a pencil on hand. You know what else is really helpful? Having an acoustic guitar.
I agree.
So you can work out vocal harmonies with the singer and just go,
totally.
You go da 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 da. That sort of thing can really help, and it will really help you branch out and come up with the harmonies on the spot if they've got something that isn't quite working.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Hysteria is a classic album. All the Def Leppard stuff is amazing.
Yeah, Pyromania was it for me.
Yeah,
I remember when that came out. That was like
exactly. Mutt Lange is a really, 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 really done. Yeah, I mean, of course, there's no fixed rule on it, but Ulrich, you know that you cannot work a singer that hard. I had a vocal teacher from a very, very, very successful TV show, and I can't say who it is, come down to the studio to cut vocals with me with the singer of this TV show. So the guy comes down, and it's a show featuring singing. And I have never seen, and this guy is a very well-known, very successful vocal teacher. I have never seen a guy destroy somebody's voice quicker. And this was an incredibly well-paid singing teacher. The thing is like early on in the day, you have that warmth in your voice. As you go on, like Mellencamp, John Mellencamp, nothing's nothing. No, I don't hate you. Of course, I don't really hate anybody, but except for maybe Adolf Hitler. But the point is like it's about preserving the warmth. Like if you want that. And I've seen vocal teachers take the singers past it. The thing with, and you probably know this, Ulrich, very well, is the thing is that a lot of vocal teaching, too much of it, is still in musical theatre. I get girls coming to me all the time, young girls coming to do their first recordings or anything like that. They come in and they're all like, I don't want to go, and everything is announced, and they're projecting. And it's just awful. They're projecting because their vocal teacher has taught them how to project and announce. And it just sounds like really, really bad English musical theatre, And so it's really, I think sometimes a lot of vocal teaching, and I know, Ulrich, you're a rock guy and you get it, but a lot of the vocal teachers are disconnected from recording and the fact that we have huge PAs now, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. People gravitate towards. I mean, there's guys like my favorite artist in the world. For all of you that follow me, is Queen, and you also know that without any, Freddie Mercury was the most theatrical singer that ever lived. However, he wasn't over-enunced. He was just performance-based, but he had so much control of his vocals. And when you have like, good. Yeah, we'll do more live streams. This is the first time I've ever done one of these. This is the first live stream I've ever done in 2 years of having a YouTube channel. And it's because of him. Because he's like, Glenn needs coffee. Yeah, well, the thing is, he's 3 hours ahead.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly. Actually, it's 6:28 here.
9:30.
Yeah, it's like 9:30 my time. Yeah, I probably do need a coffee, but whatever. Hey, it's all good. I swear it's not because you're boring or anything, Warren.
Let's ask him. Glenn needs Vegas, says Jason. Oh, you don't understand.
Oh, yeah. No,
he was trying to go to Vegas.
No, that's my buddy Jason Constantine from Vegas, who I was going to go visit. Yeah.
Gearfest, are you going?
Yeah. Gearfest. GitCon I'm going to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you go. Ulrich, we love you. See, Ulrich says, yes, you're right. The most sad to say that most vocal teachers explain a lot of rubbish, especially the breathing thing. Many teachers teach wrong. And Queen rocks, thank you. So I think everybody, where are you based, Ulrich? If you want a good vocal teacher, I think Ulrich's your man. Very smart. Yeah, it's true. It's interesting because I want to respect people that we work in here, but a lot of it's because it's musical theatre training. They're just not training rock and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Lots. I'm glad there's also some big Queen. Can a really good producer turn a bad song into something good? I don't think you can turn a bad song into a amazing song, but you could take. But you could.
Well, I don't know. I had a contest where we did some pretty good versions of some pretty shitty songs.
Right, but those are subjectively shitty. I think what he's saying.
The guy who won did a metal cover of "Rivers of Babylon" by Boney M.
Right, but that's a hooky song. It's just not a cool song. It's like I mean, it's a good melody. It's just kind of a cheesy song. I think what he's saying is like if a guy comes in and goes, you know, can you make that a good song? No, you can't make it a good song, but could you do some amazing production to make the music interesting? Sure. You know what I mean? If it's an A, G, C, D, whatever chord progression, of course, you could be and it still will have that crappy melody. No, I like the Rivers of Babylon. Was it like a favourite song of mine? No, but I think it's a good melody.
Well, what this kid did with it was pretty interesting.
I want to hear it.
The production wasn't good. It wasn't about production. It was about what can you do with the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the way how he sang the chorus, it just blew my mind. And then he went like totally black metal with it. And I'm like, okay, this is really different. But yeah.
Somebody said you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter.
Yes, that's a common phrase over on the Joey Sturgis forum.
The other one I like is the gilding a turd. Gilding a turd. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you know, we got some pretty good versions of some pretty bad songs. I mean, one of my favorites was like a hard rock version of like Afternoon Delight. Guy did it like Boston style, and it was fucking amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he did a really great job on it.
You're in Ulrich. You're in Göttingen. I wish. Hopefully, I can pronounce that right. I have a lot of German friends, so you have to excuse it.
I'll be in Germany at the end of September at GitCon with Henning.
Go and check it out.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just YouTubers only. So we'll be streaming a lot, though. We'll be all over YouTube that week. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, but I think we're going to be, me and Henning, Henning and I, are going to be doing a German tour in November, though. We're going to be like doing a YouTube thing across the country. We're going to go to like Berlin and
that'll be fun,
and all kinds of cool things like that. That's still a maybe at this point, but hopefully it's going to happen.
I'd love to go and do that. Maybe next year. Parallel compression on your drums, mono or stereo? Both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I used to do this thing where I would take the kick and the snare and parallel compress it, and then take the rest of the drums and stereo.
Okay.
I feel like that way you can do like, and okay, you could have that as a stereo bus for the kick and snare, but ultimately it's just kick and snare, really aggressive, and then have overheads and rooms squashed. It's just for me, it gives me a quick, easy fix if I just want to push up the energy of the kick and the snare without pulling up all the rooms, or vice versa if I want it to be.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And so in a perfect world, I do both. On my console, I have a stereo pair of faders with it, and I also have mini faders on the end there where I take the overheads and crush them and put them up. And that creates another kind of energy, those kind of shh, which I really love. Hey, go and hit the like button. Apparently YouTube likes it when you like it. Glenn is the daddy. I wish unsigned or musicians low on money could have the same chance to record the music as the big names do to compare their songs. I think you do. I think the gear is there. It's all about the creativity. Thank you for liking, everybody.
And that's the thing. You've got YouTube now. I mean, like, you don't necessarily need a record label. I mean, like, this is the thing. If you record something good now, people are going to find out.
Jason says, same for me. Kick and snare get their own parallel. Rest is stereo.
Yeah, Jason's a smart motherfucker.
Oh, there you go. See?
Yeah, Jason's right on.
Yeah, good job. Do you guys EQ with minimal, maximum 3 dB? I think that's what he's trying to say.
You guys EQ what?
Minimal or maximum. I do whatever I need to do.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
I do this. Sometimes I do this.
Was it Chris Lord Alge saying, just crank it up. If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
3 dB, where did that come from?
Oh, yeah. There's a YouTube channel out there with all these theories of high passing and EQing and stuff. And then they talk about, they show how the waveforms look. And I'm just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I was driving down the street listening to the radio and I could see the wait there. I could see the wave. What? I could see yeah. It's like,
Okay.
one thing I want to say is I'm not an expert. I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing 99% of the time. I just turn things and go, well, that sounds better. I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm in your school.
Yeah. And do you know what, Jack Douglas? We're about to go and see Shelley Yakis in about 5 minutes' time. Shelley Yakis recorded Don't Fear the Reaper. That's usually enough to kind of floor anybody. But he also did Dire Straits making movies. He did Damn the Torpedoes by Tom Petty.
Did he do Love Over Gold?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
But he did Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, U2, Under a Blood Red Sky. I mean, the guy's resume is absolutely insane. And when you ask him about how to do something, he's like, just try this, did that, did this. It's like there are no experts.
That's true.
If a guy's like, when I see those videos where the guy's telling you're doing it wrong and this is the way, and the titles are like, don't do this and do it, it's like, you know what? The biggest guys I know are still, every day, they're changing their opinions.
And trying to learn more.
Yeah, trying to learn more.
I mean, like, here's when I do a tutorial, I'm like, okay, this is how I do it. You can try it this way, but the trick is experiment and do what works for you.
Yeah. I think, obviously, I will say, though, and I want to get lost, if you're a beginner, I did copy. I did, one of the first real recordings I did, I think, was in '89 with Louise Goffin. And I was like the assistant/engineer, and Andy Jackson, who was, and still is, Pink Floyd's engineer and producer, came in. So I'm sitting there like with Louise Goffin and Gerland Dorsey on bass, who famously was David Bowie's bass player. So I'm in a room, my first real gig, like, it's 1989, and Andy Jackson, who does Pink Floyd records, is sitting next to me, and I'm like, and he mic'd up the drum kit with a pair of 87s, a D12, and a 57 on the snare. 4 mics. That was it. And he put a tiny bit of compression on the snare top, and everything else he did like a little tiny bit of EQ. And when he left, I didn't touch anything for like 3 months. I mean, I was just like, and the thing was, I couldn't hear the compression, I couldn't hear the EQ. All I knew is it sounded good. And after about 3 months, I started to understand. I adjusted something and it sounded worse, and I adjusted something and it sounded better. I'm like, oh, that's why he did it. So there is a good reason to copy. If you like what Glenn does and his stuff sounds good, then copy it. But after a while, you'll formulate your own opinions.
Right.
So when it's good. But there's 800 billion different ways of doing good.
Yes.
There's no one way to do good.
The trick is, and
glue the faders.
The trick is, honestly, is just put time in. That's the best. The best advice I can give you is, you're only going to get good at it if you put time in and learn what works for you.
We are gonna do some waves things. We're gonna do some waves things, and we're also gonna do some slate things, because those are real. Diego loves my shirts. Thank you. You know what? I think my wife bought this. So
no, get this Basses Lift. It's available now at the SpectreMedia.ca shop.
Go and check out his channel. Basses Lift. Wait
Basses
there.
Lift.
Tell us, how did Basses Lift come by?
Somebody was mad at me for one of my videos and was chewing me out and wrote down, bass is awesome, bass is the foundation. Of course it is, and the reason I rag out bass players so much is because none of them take it seriously enough. I mean, there's some truly amazing bass players, and I think if you don't have great bass guitar and metal, you're going to have a weak mix. You need a great. I've seen a lot of great records just go completely down the shitter because the bass player wasn't up to par with what the guitar players were doing. So I'm always chewing out bass players, not because they suck, but because I want to see them get better.
Yeah.
And but anyway, somebody didn't quite get that whole methodology of what I'm trying to get across, and they're going on, and they're trying to write bass is life, and they misspelled it to bass is lift, and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. That's going on a T-shirt.
Right, bass is Lars. Yeah, I know. People don't get it. I mean, the thing about Glenn is, like, he's one of the nicest guys on the planet. He's like one of my best friends because he's a really cool guy, and he works really, really hard at this. And he's just trying to help people. And if he's giving you crap, it's because he's trying to make you to take this seriously. And it's right. A lot of people play instruments like the bass because it's the easy way out and it's simpler than playing rhythm
And that's
guitar.
the thing. So many people underestimate the bass. It's not an easy instrument. It's a very physical instrument.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of precision. It takes a lot of power. And you need finesse. And that's one thing I find missing on a lot of bass players is the finesse end of it, because most of them can't hear themselves at practice. They don't hear all the
Thanks, Juan.
because they spent no money on their amp, and then they don't understand when they get in the studio while all the strings are flapping in the breeze out of key. And it's like, you didn't learn how to mute, did you? What's
Right.
that?
Yeah, exactly. Tough Love is what I'm getting here from PT.
love.
Take Flea, for example. Yeah, Flea is a bass player. It's amazing.
Tough hate is more like it, but whatever.
Yeah. UAD Quad, haven't used it, so I'm not really an expert.
I hope to be demoing for UAD sometime later this year. I'm in talks with a few people. I'm really intrigued by the whole Universal Audio stuff. I really want to give that a try. And first met Glenn at AS. He
Told me his secret.
What was my secret?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I think where I work, probably.
Yeah, where he works. Is George Martin the fifth Beatle? I don't know. I know
I
that
thought Stu was.
Well, and yeah, probably. No, I always read that Brian Epstein was considered to be the fifth Beatle
Or what
by the
about
band.
Billy, the keyboard player there?
Billy Preston?
Billy Preston.
Yeah.
He was the fifth Beatle.
Look how Justice for All ended up. Classic example how bass isn't noticed till it's gone.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great thing. Oh, that's a classic example of what happens when you listen to the drummer when you're mixing.
Yes, Ulrich, send me an email to warren@producelikeapro.com. Go and subscribe to Glenn's channel if you're not already a subscriber. Please hit like, and you can hit like because apparently YouTube likes it
What time
when
are we
you
supposed
like.
to be across the street?
I will have to leave in a minute.
Yeah.
Let's make it to 40 minutes. We've got 2.5 minutes. Mac or Windows. I use both. Glenn thinks
I'm a PC guy.
he's a PC guy. I'm mainly an Apple guy.
I might get an iPad at some point just because it's easier to run. You can run like Guitar Sim apps through them, and I think that's kind of cool. I saw the you guys doing some stuff with like an iPad and a little baby face. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really freaking cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. The quick question here that I thought was great: harshness on acoustic guitar.
Ribbon mic.
Well, if it's already recording your mixing, use a de-esser.
Yep, that'll work.
Use a de-esser to catch it. There's so many questions coming in. Can you learn to mix as well as a beginner, only having entry-level gear and less ideal room? Do you need gear to learn? You don't need any gear. You can mix entirely in the box and make great records. It really comes down to, a lot of people said in your source, if you don't have well-recorded stuff, it's much more difficult to mix than well-recorded stuff. So this is my one thing is just make sure at least you have one decent mic pre on the way in. Now, it can be built into your interface. Like Audient, like we say, make a really, really good interface.
Yeah, and the mic pre's are just super clean.
Yeah. So you get an Audient with a decent sounding input. As long as you're not overdriving it in a bad way and you're capturing good fat tone, oh yeah, Warren, please, people should also share the video. The new YouTube will help promote it. Okay, can you please share the video?
Yeah, that
Can you
helps.
like and share the video? Susan Rogers says hi. Hey, Susan Rogers.
Hi, Susan Rogers.
It's hard to make Aerosmith sound bad. Yeah, I agree, except unless you just push play. Oh, did I just say that?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know. I think Steven Tyler and Joe Perry did a pretty good job of it at the end of the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just joking.
Like, have you ever heard like some of their live stuff at the end of the 70s?
Although I mean, the bootleg album is one of my favorite
Whoa.
albums. It's such a big sloppy mess of genius. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. Apparently, I've learned that you have to hit the bell. See how behind the curve I am, and apparently
low battery. That means we really got to wrap.
yeah,
it
we're
up.
gonna roll it up. Road. mics, yes or no?
Yes, definitely. I love
Yeah.
Rode mics. Rhodes were some of the first condensers I ever started working with. I have 2 NT1s. One still works. The other one got sacrificed in the first Woods of Ypres record. But I've got, I've got the Rode NTR ribbons. They are magnificent microphones, and the NTK. I've got one of those. It's still got the original Jan Phillips tube in it. It's fantastic. That's a great mic, and the K2's killer. Yeah, Rode stuff you absolutely cannot go wrong with. If you're gonna, you don't know what your first mic should be, or you want to spend some money on a condenser, you don't know what to get. Start with a Rode. Start with a Rode. They're just magnificent.
I agree.
Yeah, the NT1A is great. Yes.
Question was, somebody said, was George Martin the best producer ever? I would have to say yes. Why am I saying yes? Because he got the best results ever. It's like a catch-22. Because you can have an argument or a fight about what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is this. You're only as good as the people you work with.
Sure.
So no matter... It's John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Ringo was the best song drummer that drummed on songs. Yeah. Wasn't technical incredible, but he was a song drummer. He played to the song. Paul McCartney was an amazing bass player, songwriter, singer, keyboard player, you name it. John Lennon had more edge than Sid Vicious. I mean, just tons. There was some angst. There's a guy who basically grew up as an orphan, even though he knew his mother and his father left. He was dumped off onto his aunt, and he was able to bring all of that emotion and that stuff into his music that was just insane. So, and then of course George Harrison was probably the most underrated songwriter of all time, who wrote some of the biggest things. Yeah, can't
connect here. Yeah, so we've been on longer than 40 minutes, because the clock reset.
So my point is like, why would I say George Martin is the best producer ever? Because he was able to get those performances and not screw it up. There's been plenty. How many times have you heard about the supergroup that goes into the studio and you're like, oh my God, this is like the 4 best musicians in the world, and then the album's the most boring piece of crap you've ever
Not mentioning names like Audio Slave or something like that. Yes.
Who?
Audio Slave.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I was pretty underwhelmed by Audio Slave.
So the point is like, yeah, I mean, obviously we're the point is you get these incredible players. They all get together, and they need somebody, and songwriters and singers, they need somebody to like push against them. They need...
Uh-oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I gotta go. They need somebody who's their foil. They need somebody who can be like, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. They need to inspire and encourage. So the fact that the results are there, that's what makes him the greatest producer, because he was able to get that from the artist. It's not just because there's been plenty of options, plenty of opportunities when you've got amazing artists together.
Saves you hung up on her.
Okay, I've got to...
Okay.
I've got to go. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing, and I'll speak to you all again very soon.
Take care, everybody.
So check it out.
Yep.
Check it out. Go to Spectra Sound. Okay.